Hey, Alexis Love Beauties and Flawless Men. So we are back for part 2 of Keep Your Friends Close, Keep Your Families Closer. So where we left off in part 1 was with Moses when he seen his brethren getting beaten by an Egyptian, and he decided to take the matters into his own hands. But then he had 2 other brethren that were watching, and due to their jealousy, they were like, oh, so now you think you some type of king over us? Well, how about we go tell the king Pharaoh? So his family, Moses' brethren, went and told Pharaoh like, hey, Moses had killed someone. Now Pharaoh is after Moses. So we're going to go to speak about Joseph and his brothers, still family, that tried to give him up or did give him up for slavery. The thing with these people is that it's some type of envy, some type of jealousy, some demons that they're dealing with. So we have to make sure that just because we're related, that we just don't put that on everything. The devil doesn't care if you're related or not. This is a spiritual warfare. So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 37, verses 3 through 36. Okay. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all of his children, because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a coat of many colors. So now Israel, he had a son when he was older, and he loved this child because he had this son when he was older. So he made him a coat with many different colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all of his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. So when Joseph's brothers seen that their dad loved him, because his dad loved him because he was old and he had this son, which when you're older and you have a child, that's like a miracle, baby. But they seen that and they was like, oh, our dad loved him more. And every time that these brothers had a conversation about Joseph, it was never nothing nice. It was never nothing about peace. It was all disrespect conversation that they would have about Joseph. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told his brethren, and they hated him yet more. Now Joseph is having dreams, and he don't know. Again, he just chopping it up with his family, with his brothers, like, man, y'all, last night I had this dream. And now they're hating him even more. Like, he had a dream. Like, well, he must think he's got some type of superpowers, and our daddy love him. Well, what's wrong with us? And he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we are binding shells in the field, and lo, my shelf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your shelves stood round about, and made absence to my shelf. So what he said is, listen, I'm telling y'all about this dream I had. Now we out here working, and my shelf is standing up doing other things, and then your shelves is kind of like roundabout. So whatever kind of work that they were doing, Joseph's shelf in the field, it says that my shelf rose. So it sounds like his shelf had rose up, and then his brother's shelves, they like just was around about it. And his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed resign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet more for his dream and for his words. So they're out there working. He was telling them, hey, y'all, I had this dream. Now they're looking at the work like, so what? Do you think you're going to be powerful over us? Like, you think you're going to have dominion over us? Because I'm not understanding this. You having dreams and stuff, and it look like your work is different than ours. Like, what's really going on? Again, these are events that Joseph don't have nothing to really do with. He's just living his life, going through things, having communications with his father, respecting his parents, just doing some work, and just regularly communicating with his family. But these people begin to hate him even more and even more. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars are made absent to me. He keeps telling his brothers, because he don't know that they hate him. He just keeps telling them the different things that he's experiencing, the different dreams, and they just continue to hate him and hate him even more. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? After he told his dad this dream, his daddy was like, okay, so what you trying to say with this dream? You trying to say that you're going to have power over us as well? Is me, my wife, and my sons, are we going to have to worship you? Like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, because I don't understand these dreams that you having. And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. So the dad, when Joseph told his dad this dream, he understood what the dream was. He understood what was going on. But then the brothers, they just began to envy him even more. Now, first they hated him. Now they envy him even more. All because he's having dreams and he don't probably even really understand what they are. So now they went to work in the flock. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here I am. So now Israel is asking Joseph, like, is your brothers even doing their job when they're out there, or are they just talking all day? He said, let me come and show you how you supposed to do this. And he said, all right, Dad, here I am. And he said unto him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with my brethren and well with the flocks, and bring me the word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shem. So he went out. He was like, hey, son, I'm about to show you how to do this. And it sounded like he was asking him, like, do your brothers be doing what they need to do? Well, let me show you how this is done. He was like, I'm going to need you to go out there again. And basically, he was just telling him, like, go and I pray thee, whether it be well with thy brethren and well with thy flocks, and bring me a word again. So now Israel is waiting for a word from Joseph. He like, you got something else that's going on? Like, let me know what's going on. Because Israel understand what his son was saying and what his son was going through. Now, the brothers didn't understand what he was going through or what he was really saying, but they knew that every time he had something going on, it was something special about him. So the easiest thing for them to do was just to hate on him and then eventually become envious of him. And a certain man found him. And let me see, I think I got a bag up. Okay, so now they're all out here working. And then it says, and a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seeketh my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. So when Joseph went out to work, his dad was asking him, like, when your brothers be out there, do they be working or they just be talking? They don't be doing nothing. And he was like, well, let me show you how this is done. So now the next day that Joseph went out to do work, he seen this man, and it looked like he was just wandering around the field. So this man was like, you know, what you doing out here? Like, is it something that you looking for? And he was like, yeah, I'm looking for my brothers. And where do they go when they feed the flock? Where do they be going when they be feeding their animals? That's exactly what I'm out here looking for. And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, they are departed hence. For I heard them say, let us go to Donathan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Donathan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. So Joseph is out here looking for his brothers to see where it is that they feed their flock. His dad asked him to do that. So he's, seeing where they are, where do they go to feed their flock. Then come to find out they are plotting against him. So this man told him that, look, they ain't even nowhere around here. They all the way over there in another city in Donathan. So you would have to go find them over there. So when he went over there, he found his brothers. No, they was not doing no work. They was out there plotting. So in conclusion, it do sound like Israel had got revelation as well of what was going on with Joseph. And in a sense, he was trying to get him to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together. So when he found his brothers, they was out there plotting against him. So no, they wasn't doing the work. They was out there plotting against how they'll get rid of Joseph, because they were jealous of the dreams that he was having and the love that his dad had for him. So come now. And then they said, here come this dreamer. Here come this boy that be having dreams. What do he want? So come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. So now when he find his brothers, they are all plotting to slay him. And they was like, you know what? We're going to just get rid of him, and then we're going to make it seem like he got attacked by some beast, and that's what we're going to do. And then we'll see if he's going to be dreaming when he ain't even here no more. Really jealous of this man's dream. So one of the brothers said, well, how about we don't take him out of here? Like, I think that's doing a little too much. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, and cast him into the pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might ride him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. Reuben said, listen, we ain't gonna take him out of here, just cast him in the pit, make sure you don't get no blood, that man blood on your hands, and then, we just make it seem like something happened to him today, but we ain't about to really take this man out. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come into his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there were no water was in it. So they made this plan. They was like, how about we just take him out of here? We're going to tell dad that he got attacked by some beast. So they stripped this man of his clothes, the coat that his dad made him, they took it off, and then they cast him into this pit, but they seen it wasn't no water in the pit. Glory be to God. So people in the family, they will try to cast you into pits. They would try to speak death over your life and just do different things to bring you down as a human. Again, sometimes people do not physically want to do things. So like him, he's still a part of it. Reuben said, listen, we ain't gonna literally get his blood on our hands, but we're still going to destroy him. Keep your friends close and keep your families closer. There can be people in your family that's not literally saying, okay, we're going to get his blood on our hands, but they can still be finding other ways to destroy you. Well, how about we just mess with his mental health? Well, how about we just spike his food and do something to his food and make him pass out for a few days? Well, how about we just praying his downfall? Well, how about we just speak death over him, and then that way, that declines his mental health? How about we find another evil thing to do and not necessarily remove his life from this planet? Keep your friends close and keep your families closer. Those are the different things that people do. And it'll be the ones that you thinking that they're not really doing nothing like him. Even though he wasn't with the whole taking them out by blood thing, he still was with it. He just made it a little bit more light. There can be people in the family that's like, we ain't necessarily going to take them completely out, but I got a better idea. How about we just lighten up a little bit, and then we can go about it this way? People still will do wild stuff, even if they're not physically doing it to you. They can still be doing it in the spirit, or they can still be making other plans to transpire against you, and not a way that was going to be too dramatic versus somebody else in the family that was like, this is just cold blood. So he's still wrong for giving another idea like, well, let's not take him out, but let's just throw him in the pit still. He's still jealous as well. So after they stripped him out of his coat that his dad made, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty and there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Galilee, and their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry down to Egypt. So after they threw this man in this pit, they didn't even know there wasn't no water in there. They thought they had done something good. Now they want to sit down and eat bread. You see how it's always a Passover? People be thinking that they're doing something, but when you're covered in the blood of Jesus, when God is with you, no man could be against you. So just like Judas, after he betrayed Jesus, you think you about to sit down and eat the Last Supper. After these people, they cast him into this pit, not even knowing there ain't no water in there. They feel like they about to sit down and eat bread. Now from afar, they see some of the Ishmaelites. They see another group of people riding in on their camels with their myrrh, with their spices. And these people came from Egypt. So they see them while they're eating the bread. And again, somebody like, you know what? We ain't going to take them out by blood, but I think I got a better idea. And Judith said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? the brothers. Now everybody having a conversation about how we gonna do this. Do we really want to take them out by blood? No, bro. This blood, that's doing too much. That's doing too much. I say we just throw them in the pit, let them drown, and then we, you know what I'm saying, we can go eat and we can go chill. No, I think that's still doing too. I mean, what good is it going to do for us to slay this man? I mean, what are we going to do with his blood? Like, we don't have nothing to do with it. It's not like no prize or nothing. I got a better idea. Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and him brethren we content. Listen, how about we just give him over to somebody else, and then that way his blood will be on their hands, and then it look like we never had nothing to do with it, and we can live the rest of our good lives. That's what we're gonna do. That way that it don't even look like we involved in this setup. So, you know, and then whatever they do to him, then that's what they do to him, and his blood gonna be on his hands. So I just feel like God gonna judge them because they got the blood on their hands, and God ain't gonna judge us, and we gonna be good. He said, this is our brother, this is our flesh. So I feel like we, you know, we shouldn't really necessarily take him out. We'll let somebody else do it, and then we ain't got to worry about no consequences. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. So it's two different groups of men that's out here on this day that they decide to throw their brother into this waterless pit. Somebody sees Joseph, so now it's like the brother's just sitting off a fire looking like, bro, you see them people? Where is these people coming from? But I think, you see what I'm saying? Like, we don't even got to do this no more. Our prayers have been answered. He about to get taken out by somebody else. Just watch this. Now, his blood ain't going to be on our hands because it's going to be pointless anyway. Now they looking. Somebody come and take, one of the group of people come and take him out of the pit. And then they sell him for 20 pieces of silver to the Egyptians. Like, look, we just found this man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can go ahead and slave him out. And I sell him to y'all for 20 pieces of silver. So they transpired against him. They set him up, but then they kind of bagged out the way. That way that they didn't have nothing to do with it. So it could look like a setup, it could look like a robbery, and it could look like the brothers like never had nothing to do with it when they had everything to do with it. Then and Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. Now Reuben, the first one that said, I don't think we should take him out by blood. I think we should just throw him in a pit of water and then he'll drown out. He went back to the pit after these other two groups of body had already sold Joseph. This man went back to the pit and he was like, oh my God, he ain't here. Like, yes, this is exactly what we wanted. Let me go tell my bros. Like, bro, supernaturally he gone. So, I mean, I guess he got swallowed up by the pit, so we good. So Reuben went over there and seen that his brother was not there, and he rent his clothes. So he done picked up his clothes and he returned it to his brethren and said, the child is not, and whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood. Now listen, they didn't necessarily want to take their brother out, but what they did was when they seen that their brother was gone, everybody's still playing a role in this setup. They was like, look, now we're about to go slay a goat, and then we're going to dip his coat that our father made in the goat's blood. Then we'll take the coat back to our father and make it look like he got ate up by a beast. Then we're going to get all of the love that we need. Then we're going to just, maybe we'll start having dreams. I don't know, but at least we got rid of him. That he was our major problem. Dealing with people like that, do you honestly think that if these people are against their brother, that they won't be against each other? You know how they'll say, like, people that hate each other, they come together to hate you. After they're done hating you, after they see that what they're trying to do doesn't happen, then you don't think that eventually they're going to hate each other? Eventually they're going to be going after each other, because now you're still a jealous person. You still have that envious demonic spirit. So now when you got the person out the picture that you wanted out, now you're going to start looking at your other brothers. So Reuben and Judas, and then they probably start looking at each other like, I don't know, like, I mean, you kind of remind me of Joseph, so maybe we should take you out. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, this have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or not. These people did a whole setup. And then they took back some proof to their dad and said, Dad, our brother is gone. We found his coat and it has all of this blood on here. We don't know if this is the coat that you made for him or not. Like, we don't know what's going on, but we don't know where our brother ain't either. It just be so many familiar stories with the same situation. Joseph got sold for 20 pieces of silver. Jesus got sold for so many pieces of silver. People want to be doing stuff and then they feel like they're gonna have a peaceful life, so after they do something they get to eat and enjoy the rest of their life. That's not how it's gonna work. So they said, listen, we don't know if this your son coat or not, but he ain't here no more. And he knew it and said, it's my son's coat, and evil beasts have devoured him. Joseph is without a doubt rent into pieces. So Israel said, I knew it. Yeah, that's my son's coat. And clearly he did get attacked by a beast and he just got devoured into pieces. That's crazy. And Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loins and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him. But he refused to be comforted. And he said, for I will go down into the grave until my son's mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and the captain of the guards. Now let's bag this up. You have Israel, which his name was first Jacob, but then he got a name change. Now he's an older man. Now he has a son that's a miracle child. He loved his son. He old now, and he got this son, right? So he take care of the son just like he take care of the rest of his children, but he made his son a coat. Now his brothers is looking, whatever demons that they were already dealing with, now they're jealous of him. Their dad, they feel like they ain't loved. And all of them, they go out and they work in the field. So now Joseph, loving his brothers, just feeling like it's no problem. He don't know that they're dealing with these different spirits of hate and envy. So he just telling them the different things that he's experiencing. Like, y'all, I had a dream last night. I don't really know what it means, but this is what happened. They hate him even more. Like, then he have another dream. He like, I had another dream last night. It was something about the moon and the stars. Then they like, okay, like, what is it with this cat? Like, we don't even care. Like, ugh. Then they begin to envy him, really despise him, really hate him. I think the difference between hate is just a strong dislike, but then envy, that's even deeper. That's when you get to, now they're one of the same thing, but I feel like envy is when you get to the point of the extent of what they're doing. So now Israel asked Joseph, he said, hey, do your brothers even be working when they be out there, or do they just be, playing around? Like, what do they be doing? They just be fooling, or do y'all really be working? He was like, I'm gonna need you to see where your brothers be working at and what do they really be doing, and then let me know if you get any more dreams. Because Joseph began to tell his dad, like, Dad, I had a dream. He rebuked him, but he knew what he was talking about at the same time. So then I honestly feel like Israel may have known something was going on between his sons. So Joseph went to see where his brothers was working at, and he could not find them. He ran across this man, and this man is like, you lost? Like, it looked like you seeking for something. He like, I am. I'm looking for my brothers. Have you seen them? And he was like, they ain't around here, but they in Donington, like they in another city. He was like, all right, thanks. So he went and looked for his brothers. They not doing no work. They out there plotting to slay him and take him out. Now they all sitting there like, so how y'all think we gonna do this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be responsible for taking them out. Like, I ain't never did that before. Like, I'm good on that. Then somebody else like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, Reuben, like, maybe we shouldn't even take them out by blood. How about we just, you know what I'm saying, cast them into a pit of water, and that'll probably drown them out, and then we don't have to worry about no blood physically, and then we could just chill. How about we do that? So as soon as they seen Joseph, they, threw him around, took all his clothes off, took his coat off, and then they cast him in the pit. They thought it was done there. They went on about that. Excuse me, can you pass me a little bit of that butter? Thank you. Yup. They sitting there eating bread. Then afar, they see two different groups of people coming. Some of these people are the Egyptians, some of Pharaoh's captains and guards that looked like they was about to do an exchange with somebody else because they had myrrh and spices. And then it was another group of people, the Midians. And so it looked like the Midians and the Egyptians was meeting up with each other. The Midians seen this man in this pit, and they was like, bro, we could just sell him. So they got him out of there, and they got in contact with Pharaoh's captain, and they was like, listen, we can sell you this man for 20 pieces of silver. They're like, we'll take him. Then Reuben, the one that was like, I don't think we should take him out by blood, we should just cast him in the water. He went back to the pit and seen that he was gone. He was like, our plan worked. So now we just got to figure something else out. He went and told his brothers, like, listen, I went back over there to the pit and he ain't even in there. So, I mean, what y'all want to do now? Then another brother, Judith, was like, I feel like we should take his coat and then we should just slay a goat, one of the small goats, because we ain't trying to do nothing heavy like that, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't want no evidence that his blood or any blood is on us. We want to make it look like we ain't had nothing to do with this setup at all. So how about we take like a real small baby goat, slay that goat, and then dip his coat in that blood, and then we take that back to our daddy, and then we cry with him and make it seem like we don't know what happened to your son, Dad. I think that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, Israel at the house. He chilling, and his sons come in like, this coat look familiar, but we're not really sure if this your son coat or not. But yeah, he like, yeah, that's my son coat, and it's unfortunate that he got ate up by some beasts. So he crying, and it's something with Israel that make me feel like he kind of figured something was going on. Because he was like, when he was mourning, different things like that, these people be trifling. Y'all sit up and set this man up and then still went and comfort this man in the midst of him crying. It kind of remind me of Job, like, in a sense. Because Job's friends, they weren't trying to comfort him at all. But these people, they literally set up. His sons and daughters tried to comfort him like, Dad, I just don't know what happened to our brother. Like, we were just working and we randomly came across this coat, and I'm just so sorry that, like, you lost a son, we lost a brother. So this is crazy, like. And he like, yo, get away from me. I need time to myself. Because this ain't even sitting right with me. Y'all go do something. I'm about to go down there to the grave myself and figure this thing out. Because this ain't making no sense. Keep your friends close. Keep your families closer. Now, I just want to genuinely speak about something that I've been looking into. And in real life, we don't have to look that far. The whole thing is we have to stop giving this high pedestal to family just because we're blood. The reason and the purpose of the Bible is so we can know if these things are going on around us, or if we see things like this. That way we have spiritual discernment with God, so we can not be like uneasy about it. If you see something happening to your family, you'll read the word of God, you'll be surprised, like, bro, I never thought this would have happened to me. But then you'll know, okay, God, I know this your will, and I'm just gonna go ahead with what you're saying to go ahead with. If you told me to let them go, I'm just gonna go ahead and let them go, period. We have to ask God for wisdom, understanding, and discernment. And we have to be okay with letting people go, family or not. We seeing this happen with sons, daughters, brothers, husbands, wives. It doesn't matter who you are. And it's not the people that's actually doing this. The devil is using these people's bodies. We see in Genesis, we see in Matthew, we see in Luke, we see in Revelation. We see how the devil literally enters into these people. These people have demons in them. And if they do not fight these demons, when one leaves, it comes back to the same house. It comes back to the same body with 7 different spirits. So all of them sitting around plotting on how they was about to take their brother out. I mean, that could have been a total of like 100-something spirits. It's about 4 or 5 of y'all. You got the hate, envy, jealousy, and whatever other people be dealing with, and all of the spirits that's attached to them. It was so many spirits trying to conspire against this man. Keep your friends close. Keep your family closer. Sometimes we'll think that, the truth being jokes. There is no reason why family should be sitting around spreading each other business. If I call somebody in my family and I tell them this is between me and you, we should all have an individual relationship. You don't have to call Uncle Tom and tell Terry them what I just told you something about me. It is okay to have individual relationships without in the family. If I want to tell the family something, I want to tell the family something. If I say, hey, you shouldn't even have to say, hey, this is between me and you, because it's just me and you talking. So when family begin to spread business and different things like that, people use things against you that makes them comfortable. So say you told somebody something and you don't feel like you got to tell them it's a confidentiality because you're talking to this one person, but then this person, they're struggling with something in their life, so they feel like want to go tell the rest of the family. That way they can all laugh and joke. People like to make you the joke of the show to compress whatever it is that they have going on. So the ways that people compress things is by drugs and is by all of the other things that they're going through. So it'd be easier to talk about you, throw you under the bus and different things like that. If you notice something going on in your family, I'm gonna need you to take that to God after you see this video. Do not keep feeling like, oh, that's just my family. We can look around in the world and see somebody saying, oh, that's just my family, that's just my cousin. That's not how the devil set that up. He don't care if you birth that kid. He don't care nothing about that. Jesus said, that's not my family. I don't care if they had me. I don't care if we the same blood. You only working for God or you working for the devil? If you don't have the fruit of the spirit, then you have the fruit of the devil. If you're not walking in light, you're not trying to change, you're not trying to heal, you're not trying to fight no demons, you're not trying to seek God, you're not trying to get in this purpose, you're not trying to be wise, you're not trying to use your own gifts. And I notice some jealousy, some envy. Maybe I'm coming around you, you're turning up your nose. Maybe you can't have eye contact with me. Maybe every time we talk, you being disrespectful, and whatever else may be going on in your family. Now I'm gonna need you to take that to God, because you may have to lead them people along. The saying keep them close and keep the enemies closer does not mean you physically have to be close to them. We see right here in the text that these people were literally close to them, and that's how they were able to physically think they were going to do things to them. Because each and every person that tried to do something, it didn't work. It'll never work. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear to be. I got that little saying from the windows that's in our car. When you look on the window mirrors, that's what it say. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear to be. So when you look in the mirror, that car behind you may be closer than you really think it is. Same thing with family. We thinking it's just our friends that we need to watch. People that we grew up with. We need to be watching those that know everything about us. Sometimes you'll tell your family more than you'll tell your friends. Watch everybody. Be not deceived by nobody. Parents, a lot of parents, they like to do the narcissistic and manipulation and different things like that. We are still to honor our mother and our father, but we have to learn these different spirits and how they operate, because everybody got a story to tell. Everybody been caught in a strong delusion. Everybody got some type of generational curse. So just because we're related, that's not going to not hold you up. If you haven't did any work to heal your childhood trauma, if you haven't did any work or trying to do any work to just be a better person, them demons still could be attached to you. Don't matter if we're related or not. I've been keeping up with the Britney Spears story. I say that's a good story to go and watch. Reading Jamie Lynn Spears' book, I didn't know who she was when I got the book. I just got the book. I was like, this look interesting. Let me read about somebody else's life, right? Jamie Lynn is in the book. She telling everything from when she was born. She was one of them children that her mama didn't even want. Her mama was like, listen, I'm not having no more kids. This is all the kids I'm having. And then when it happened, it happened. Her father was an alcoholic. Her mama was working and her dad was there, but he just wasn't there. He wasn't present. He was always doing whatever it is he wanted to do. Just a flat out alcoholic. Now, when she's born, here go Britney. This the killer part. She talked throughout like 20 some chapters about how much Britney loved her. Now when she kept saying Britney, I was like, bro, who is this girl? Then I put it together. I'm like, oh, Britney Spears. Okay, gotcha. So this is Britney Spears' sister writing her story of things that she should have said. Ma'am, out of 20 some chapters, you said how Britney loved you. You said how Britney was your mother figure. She took care of you. Britney and your brother, like, they did everything for you. They dang near took you to school. They fed you, clothed you, did your hair, your nails. And when Britney began to go on tour and different things like that, she always made sure you was taken care of. Now, Britney started off young, so when they got into the industry young, their parents had to quit their job and then begin. Now, the daddy still wasn't, he was there, but he really wasn't. Now the mom had to figure out how she was going to be doing everything. Now the mom would do some manipulating stuff to where the dad, she knew that the dad really didn't care for the kids like that. So the mom would still try to see. Sometimes women, they'll put men before their kids, and that's what she said was going on. She was putting her husband before her kids. So she seen the despair in her kids. She seen that there was no relationship, no nothing, and just total disrespect. And instead of her divorcing him, she was still trying to work it out. When the kids would say something like, mom, you know, what's going on with that? She was still just trying to like cover up for him. Some women be doing that to where they put men before their children. And that's something that they have to figure out why they do that, right? So eventually, later on down the line, then she wanted to flip on Britney. This came out of nowhere. She said in her own book about how, you know, Britney started going through stuff. Mind you, they was living in the same house. You can be living in the same house. Everybody have a different perspective because we all different people. Come on, Jesus. We are all of the same body of Christ. So we were all made from the same God, but we are all in different offices. So you're going to be thinking something different. I'm going to think something different. We can all be grown up in the same environment, but we all have a different set of eyes. So we're all going to see things different. So later on down the line, she began to talk about like how Britney was young in the industry. Her mother didn't even have no guidance. She just began to now this is where they started using Britney. Early in her career, they tried to put her in a conservatorship. A conservatorship is when you're older and they feel like, you know, maybe because you got dementia or something like that, you can't really take care of yourself. Maybe something going on, you don't know how to pay finance. Maybe you forgot how to pay your bills. So now a conservatorship is going to come in and make sure that you're on track. They try to put Brittany in a conservatorship young, and everything that she did young, she did young. Like, don't act like kids don't do stuff. Kids do things. Her being in the industry, being open up to different things, always touring. It was times they wanted to go to school. They couldn't even go to school. They didn't live like regular kids. Now here comes Jamie Lynn. She said in the beginning that she had her own talent. She talked so highly of herself, about how she got so much attention. She said, I always got attention as a child. I would go places. People would just love my energy and they would just tell me things, and I just had to be the star of the show. I would always dance and say jokes and different things like that. Then one day, so you low-key was inspired by your sister, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or it could have just ran in the family because, I mean, somewhere, you know, y'all got some good genes. So now Brittany is big. And, you know, Jamie is big. You see what I'm saying? She had her own thing going on, because then she started Zoe 101. That was her show. She read the script. She read some of the dance moves. Like, that was her show. It was to the point to where Jamie was almost producing her own show. So you had your own thing going. So why was you still jealous of your sister? Because she was a singer. You didn't want to be a singer. You wanted to be a movie star, and that's exactly where you were. You had to start from somewhere, right? So later on down the line, now, touching up the current day, I recently just seen an interview with Jamie Lynn, and she flipped the whole story that she written. She said, no, I didn't get no attention as a kid. Nobody liked me in the family. I wasn't respected. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I was always there for my sister. I understand why she was there for me. She made up a whole thing about her sister trying to do something weird to her one day, trying to stab her and all types of stuff. And then I'm like, you didn't say that in the book. But then you telling your own story. So now you want an interview. In the interview, it was the body language. It was just more of like looking around, trying to make stuff up. And then it got to the point of where she was trying to make herself cry. Ma'am, you just like one of them that we learned about. Brittany did what she thought would be best to put her family in place of her finances. But when she started seeing that her family was acting weird, everybody acting weird, she was like, well, how about I start putting my own money up in a bank account? That way I can have something. Now the daddy never been there, just being a straight alcoholic. Now everybody want to be in conservatorship. Jamie lied. She said, I never been part of the conservatorship. Yes, you did. You said it out your own mouth. Yes, you was. You was a part of the conservatorship. After Brittany put her brother, and she put 2 other people in charge of her money. If something was to ever happen, this is just a beneficiary in general. She never trusted her parents, just period. The one lady didn't want to do it. The man did it for a while. Then the man began to try to move money into other accounts. People just got trifling. This still going on to this day. They got trifling. Then the man fell off, and then it was just the brother that was in charge of the money. He did something with it for a minute, and then he didn't want nothing to do with it. Then who comes? Jamie Lynn. So now she out here trying to say, I never had nothing to do with the conservatorship. I don't know what's going on. The whole family conspired against Brittany to control her and manipulate her when she was young. We all been kids before. We all done did some wild stuff. So the wild stuff that she did, they tried to make it look like a mental illness. That is what people would do. That's why it's important that you heal, and you need to do what you need to do in the spirit and be sober minded. That way, when you do something, people not looking like, oh, it's a mental illness. Everything today is man-made to be a mental illness, when really the people that's mentally ill is the one that's saying you mentally ill. To this day, this woman is still trying to fight and get out of a conservatorship. They keep on having her getting in relationships. It's just disgusting. Do your extended research on the Britney Spears story, and I promise you that's going to be a visual of part 1 and part 2 of Keep Your Friends Close and Keep Your Enemies Closer. You can also go on YouTube and watch like the Bible stories and see different things. That Britney Spears story is definitely something that is going on to where she felt like she trusts her family, she loved her family, tried to put them in charge and stuff, and then they all turned their back on her, living off of her, doing different things, getting her to marry different people. And then when they act like she was crazy, as if you keep on, you know, messing with somebody's mental health, you can cause them to have a mental illness. People be perfectly fine when they're born if they're not born with anything. So later on down the line, the way you keep on talking to your child, the way you're trying to use your child, the different things that you're doing. Listen, when a woman is pregnant, she feel all of that that's going on. So based off the life that you were living, it's a possibility that I might come out feeling a certain type of way because I felt what you felt when you was pregnant. So then on top of that, now you mad, you really don't even want me here for real, but you still having kids. And then just the little stuff you saying, I'm a baby, the little stuff I'm hearing, you and my dad arguing, whatever is going on now when I'm growing up, you still talking to me crazy. You see, I got a talent, you haven't tapped into yours. Every man has their own purpose. Sometimes parents, and this is what happened with Brittany, sometimes parents feel like children are responsible for taking care of them because they took care of them. Ma'am, we didn't ask y'all to have children. And then some people feel like, well, after my first son, I'm done. And then they kept on having children. So now because they have all these people, they feel like y'all owe me. We don't owe you nothing. We have our own lives to live. Children eventually want to have their own families. If you don't want your children, then do not have them. Or be wise and give them up for adoption. You cannot, as a parent, feel like your children owe you something because I took care of you for 18 years. That's the limitation law. It's not no, and then like with the holidays and stuff, parents be feeling like that as well. I heard this lady say this at my job. She was like, well, you know what? It was Mother's Day coming up, and they was talking about like, oh, what y'all doing for Mother's Day? This one lady was like, I ain't doing nothing because I got 3 sons and I'm expecting each and every one of them to give me something because I took care of them. So I'm expecting gifts and roses and an outing. And I think I want a little massage too. Why do you feel entitled to that because of a holiday? Again, the holidays and different things set you up to feel entitled. If you're somebody, and be sure to check out that video as well. I don't celebrate holidays no more. It's just different things. Like, and again, with the parents, since we talking about the family thing, that's what be happening with the family thing. Sometimes parents be like, well, you know, you're all supposed to give me this, you're supposed to give me that. Like we owe somebody something. The only thing that we owe is to God. That's period. As men, we don't owe nobody nothing. The only thing you need to pay is for your debts. In the Lord's Prayer, he say, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. So if you got debtors calling your phone, debt collectors, them the people that you owe. Other than that, if you don't owe nobody no money, you don't owe nobody no apology or nothing, you don't owe nobody but respect, as long as respect is given. So there's no whole thing about because I had you, I brought you in this world, I could take you out. You better read your word of God. You cannot take somebody out. Like he told Noah's son, he said, listen, I made y'all in my image after my likeness. This is my second time trying to run this covenant back. If you take the man's blood, your blood gonna be taken the same way. God said that's not how this goes. So parents, stop saying that I brought you in this world, I could take you out. All of the different things that you saying be causing a strong delusion upon your child. Then when they grow up, now they're caught in a strong delusion. And the Lord said the longer that you keep on believing these things and you thinking these things and you going with the flow, and you sitting around the family and you thinking it's okay, but in reality you know it's not okay because you know the stuff that they saying is hurting your feelings. You know you can't talk to nobody. Don't nobody want to apologize. Everybody want to be disrespectful. You're always the star of mockery. Then the longer you sit there and the longer you keep playing with them, like, you know, it's cool. Even though you hurt inside and God know you hurt inside, God is going to cause a strong delusion. So when somebody get caught in a strong delusion, it's due to them not trying to fight against and just going with the flow. So at some point when you see people, you'll be like, bro, that's common sense. I don't understand why he doing that. He may be caught in a strong delusion that could have started from home or just whatever else he was dealing with, and because he didn't choose to fight the demons came back sevenfold. Now he caught in a strong delusion. Now he really feeling like he a woman. Now people really feeling like I was born a man even though I was born a woman. Let's talk about how we are, so just 2 ways how we are supposed to address situations. God told us in one of the videos we did that you are to cast your cares upon one another. You are supposed to tell your brother when he fought you. You are supposed to tell your brother when he did something wrong. You don't supposed to hold no offense in your heart. If something is going on in your family, you feel a certain way, can't nobody validate how you feel because you are not me and I am not you. So you can't tell me that you shouldn't even be mad about that. Like you the one that did it. So sometimes people like to validate, sometimes people like to push their own belief on you, and every man is their own man. So you can't tell somebody else how they're supposed to feel. So right here in Genesis chapter 13, verses 8 through 11, what happens is now Abram, has a nephew named Lot. And both of these men are rich. This is the way that you want to resolve a conflict. If there's a conflict in the family, when you get to the point you want to resolve things, you want to ask questions about things, and you see that people are choosing to be distant, just like we seen Jesus' family choosing to be distant, choosing to not get wisdom, choosing to not be children of God, then he said, that's not my family no more. When you see people don't want to resolve issues and they feel like they got it all figured out, okay. Abraham didn't feel like that with his nephew. Y'all both rich. Both of them were rich. They fought together. They walked together. Terah, Abraham's father, said, I need you to take Lot, your nephew, and Sarah, your wife, and go in the land. And God was directing them like, I need y'all to move around. So with Abram and Lot and Sarah moving around, they were fighting. They were doing different things. And eventually, due to obedience, they both became rich. They got to a place to where their men, Abram's and Lot workman's men, began to fight each other. Did this. You know how, be careful this. You know how if you have a friend and you ain't cool with them no more, and then somebody in the family, they still want to be their friend, they still kicking into different things like that. Some people will say, well, they don't got nothing to do with me, so I don't understand why I gotta stop being her friend, because y'all friends. You are the company that you keep. Y'all don't necessarily be having to talk about me, but why would you even want to be around somebody that's beefing with somebody that you cool with, or somebody that you're related to? Example, Abram and Lot. This my nephew. So our mans is beefing. So this is what Abraham told Lot. He said, and Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and their herdmen, for we are brethren. Abraham said, listen, you my nephew, and I pray that we don't got no beef. Even though this situation happened between my herdmen and your herdmen, and they was beefing with each other, I don't want us to have no problem, because we're related, we family. He said, it's not the whole land before thee. Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then will I go the right. Or if thou wilt depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. He said, listen, you're a rich man. I'm a rich man. And because the men in our congregation is beefing against each other, they're not about to turn us. Eventually, the people will try to turn you. Even though that person ain't talking about you right now with them, eventually, somewhere down the line, maybe you might start bringing up stuff about me. And then maybe it doesn't matter. You just don't want to be around it. If you hanging with somebody that's beefing with me, I don't trust y'all. Y'all one and the same men. They even talk about that all the time. You are the company that you keep. If you hang with robbers, eventually you'll begin to rob. Because you'll start looking too like, dang, I don't got no TV. Maybe I should start stealing with them. He said, listen, you're a rich man. I'm a rich man. Since our people beefing, you see all this land before us. How about you go this way and I go this way? We're going to separate. So I'm going to go to the left, you go to the right, or it don't even matter for real. If I go to the right, you go to the left. But I think we need to separate because we're not about to have no problems. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as though cometh unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plains of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves one from the other. So Lot didn't even realize how much land was before him. And he looked up and was like, oh, good idea. You know what? I'm about to go over there. I'm going to overtake Jordan. Me, my family, me, my flock, me, my herd, man, we about to go over there. It's water over there. The land is overflowing with milk and honey. And then y'all go that way. The best thing to do is to separate. Abraham said, listen, we're not about to be beefing because some people around us is beefing with each other. Eventually, that will cause us to beef. So listen, the land is plentiful. How about you go that way? I'll go this way. All right, I think that's a good idea. Now let's go over to Exodus chapter 1, verses 19 through 22. Now, actually, I think that, no, so that wouldn't be the one. So that's okay. So actually, we're going to be reading from Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 through 6. And this is what it says. And there went a man of the house of the Levite. Now, let's back up. Mind you, the seeds of Abraham due to his obedience, because the Lord replenished the world like 2-3 times, right? Now again he established his covenant with Abram, and he told him, due to your disobedience, now you will be the father of many nations. First it was supposed to be Adam, he got deceived by his girl. Then it was supposed to be Noah, got deceived by his sons. So now Abram, I'm going to give you my covenant. We're going to start this all over again. And then you're going to be the father of all the nations that's to come forth. Abram is still the father of all the nations that it came forth. Period. So now it gets to the point of, in Egypt, Pharaoh wants to kill all the firstborn sons. The thing about the firstborn son is, because you can be a king. When you were a son, you may be a king depending on how your family is set up, depending on how the legacy is set up. So Pharaoh knew if one of them children of Israel came from over there that was powerful, that could possibly be the king and take over Egypt. We're not having that. We need to kill all the firstborn sons. Because see, Pharaoh was getting word that the king was on his way. Mind you, this is all the way in Exodus. This is the beginning of the word. So people have been expecting Jesus BC, AD. People have been expecting the Messiah. But when Jesus came, didn't nobody really want to accept him like that. But we see right here that before you even got here, people was taking out firstborn sons because they was afraid of who the real Messiah may actually be. So about this time, Pharaoh was just going through the land slaying all the firstborn sons, because ain't nobody about to be king but him. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took a wife of the daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw him that he was a godly child, she hid him 3 months. People still being, intimate throughout the city. But it's just, if you get word that you had a firstborn son, we got to get him up out of here. So this man, he took a woman from the house of Levi, and they bore a son. And when the woman had the son, she said, this is a godly child. They're not about to take my son out of here. So this leads me to believe that when women do have children, they know before they even be born if this is going to be a godly child, a goodly child. I feel like, you know how they say like women intuition, and after you have children, this and this and that. I feel like to this day, women be knowing the powers of their children and who their children may be. I think they may have a little bit of insight before their children even get wind of it. Again, probably the reason why later on down the line, family be against family. Then later on in the word of God, Jesus said, listen, we're not about to keep on having these broken households. So guess what? God came to divide the house of 5. It's going to be mother against mother, daughter against daughter, son against son, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law. Because God is separating the house. If you are not doing the work of God, he don't care that you family. That's not your family. He said, come and seek God, and no man can be against thee. Now, I believe he talked about that later on in Matthew, or I want to say Luke, when he was talking about how he's separating the house. So, in our lives, there may be people in our family that God is saying, I need you to cut them off. I need you to, cry about it in the car, but I need you to back up. I know that's your cousin. I know that's your mama. I know that's your daddy, but I'm going to need you to let them go. God is purposely coming to divide the house. If we look around social media, we'll keep on hearing about people, oh my God, like they family. I remember they used to be a good family. Just because somebody objects in the mirror are closer than they appear to be, they look good, but are they really good? No. So now she said, this a good, I know this, they're not taking my son out of here. So I feel like women be knowing the seeds that they be bearing. So she hid him for 3 months. And then when she could no longer hide him, she took him to an ark of rushes and dabbled it with slime and with pitch and put the child therein. And she laid it in flags by the river bank. So to break that down, when she said, y'all ain't about to get y'all hands on my son because this is a man of God. Listen, I'm about to figure this out. She hid him for 3 months. God gave her revelation. Oh, I know what to do to get him away from here safely. She began to use things of the world like knits and what they say she used. She used she used different things from an ark. She used some slime and she made him like a little boat and she put him off in the water. And his sister stood afar off to what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion to him and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children. So earlier up in the text, the Hebrew women was like, I mean, what's going to go on with our children? Because, you know, them Israelites women, they fair, so they can have kids. And Pharaoh was like, we just going to get rid of all the firstborn sons just to eliminate the king of Israel even being born. So his mom was like, listen, I'm about to get my baby out of here safe because it's a godly man. Like, we're not doing that. She put him in the water, and then his sister was looking afar off. The girl didn't have to worry because he wasn't coming after the firstborn daughter. So she was able to stay with her mom. But as for Moses, she sent him off. It's just funny to me how God still circled back, how she put him in the riverbank, and somewhere, somehow, he still just ended up around Pharaoh and his people. So now Pharaoh's daughter is washing up, and she like, what is that? I need you to go get that for me, please. They went and get it, and it's a baby. Pharaoh's daughter took in Moses. So now Moses is related to Pharaoh by default, by in-law. So then later on, this is why we see Moses, he see his brethren. Now he knows that he living in Egypt, he was raised in Egypt, but he knowing that other people don't live like he living. So he noticed his brethren. He noticed different people like him being beaten. And this is when he was like, listen, I ain't no real Egyptian person, and I ain't about to have this. So that's when he tried to take matter into his own hands. And then his brethren, the same people he tried to help, because see, at this point Moses was living like a king. He didn't have to go against the people. He could have just been like, oh, you know, I'm glad I'm Team Egypt. I'm glad I've been taken care of by the royal family. I ain't got to get in their business. But he got in their business because he seen real people that he was like. He seen his real Hebrew family, and he was like, let me do this. And then they turned against him and said, Pharaoh, Moses is out here slaying your men. And Pharaoh was like, I'm about to be after him. At this point, Pharaoh is like Moses' granddaddy. Keep your friends close spiritually. You don't want to keep people physically near you that you see that they're finding. If you cannot see these things, ask God for insight, because we don't have time to keep playing around with these people, because these people may have 7 times 7 times 7 demons since they refuse to do the work that they need to do. So ask God for discernment of your friends. Let him know everything. Do I need to be hanging with these people? Begin to watch people's actions and the things that people say. Don't let nothing slide. Sometimes we'll be letting stuff slide and be like, oh, that's cool. They ain't meaning like that. You know how you feel in your heart. You know how uncomfortable you was in that conversation. Ask God who these people is. God see what's going on, but he wants us to be aware. He wants us to ask him. That way he know that we care about ourselves, that we engaging with ourselves. Family or not, them be the first people, because they know everything, or they feel like they know everything. We can all grow up in the same household and you can still be against me. Britney Spears, we can all grow up in the same household and you can still be against me. You got your own talents. Just like Moses, we can all be growing up in the same household and you be against me. Just like Joseph and his brothers, we all out here working the land anyway. But I'm just having dreams, and somewhere in y'all spirit, y'all know a dream is different. Maybe y'all ain't dreaming. Now we can be growing up in the same household and y'all can all still be against me. Jesus and his family, we can be growing up in the same household, and because I'm teaching the word of God, y'all can be against me. It doesn't matter who the people is. It's not a people fight. It's a spiritual warfare. So these people not even aware of the spirits that they carry. We need to be aware of the spirits that they carry and separate. God be with thee, no man can be against him. So do not be afraid when you be ignoring people or when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Mind your business and stay in your office. You still don't want to forsake the law of your mother, nor the things that your father taught you. You want to keep that wisdom with you, but if you notice that it's getting dangerous, you notice that these people is messing with your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, you notice you telling people your dreams, like, I think I want to be, you know what I'm saying, a doctor, and they telling you like, I think you should be a hairstylist. People be downing you and different things like that. You have to be careful with that. Some people see that they're not where they want to be just because they simply never ask, or because they know and they have fear in their heart. But because you don't have fear in your heart, now they're going to be jealous of you. You don't owe nobody nothing but the people that you owe. If you had children at some point when they were old enough to take care of themselves, they don't owe you anything. All we owe each other is love. Love conquers all. Love heals all. If I don't owe you no money, then I don't owe you anything. Another phrase that I hear in my life, or I heard in my life, was, you're gonna need me before I need you. That's another phrase that we need to be watchful of. Why do we feel like it's some type of competition? Why do I feel like I need you before? You don't know how anything will go. We have to stop feeling like we know how different things will go. God can do whatever it is he want to do. You never know what end that you may be on to where you may need somebody. Like, it's just the different levels of competition, the different levels of jealousy and envy. We don't need that. We don't need that. If you notice and begin to ask God for discernment and insight, he'll tell you directly, no, you need to cut them off. Yup, she doing witchcraft against you. You need to leave her alone. And do not be like, witchcraft? Well, God, I don't think it's going to hurt me that bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I might be able to fight it. I'm gonna reference this too. I need y'all to go over to Latoya O'Keel YouTube channel, and I need y'all to watch the video titled "Know When the Presence of God Has Left." In that video, I ain't giving y'all the whole video, I'm just telling you a little bit, because you have to know when God is no longer with people. When God is no longer with people, it gets dark. You begin to feel certain things, and then when you open your eyes, because you're asking God, then he'll begin to reveal certain things from you. You need to get out of Dodge. You cannot fight these demons that these people have. That is their task. You know how, like, sometimes as women, we be trying to raise men and trying to do things for them. Everybody needs to do for themselves. Period. We be trying to fight demons for people. We need to be fighting our own demons. Alexis Love Beauties and Flawless Man, go watch that video. Know when the presence of God has left. God is no longer with people that we still trying to be around, and that's how you become an innocent bystander, because you're around people that you don't need to be around. You don't know what kind of demons these people fighting. You don't know what they done did in the hood before they came and picked you up. Now they picked you up and y'all just sliding to the grocery store. You not know what these people got going on in their life, and then something happened. Now you an innocent bystander. Know when the presence of God has left. We only want to be in the presence of people that's in the presence of God. Understand that people still working. People still transforming. Come on, Jesus. People still working. People still transforming their life. People still healing. People still trying to figure out their traumas and they wanted different things like that. That's fine and dandy. But there's a certain body of people that don't even care. And they still feel like, listen, I'm just waiting on this one person to come up in the family and I know I'm going to be straight. It's going to get to a point where God will say, that ain't on you. And you're not supposed to have no hate. You're not supposed to boast or anything like that. But God will tell you if you need to even take care of these people. Do your extended research. I will leave part 1 in this video. I'll also leave the different scripts that you can go. Please, I'm encouraging y'all to go watch this video by Latoya O'Keel on YouTube. Know when the presence of God has left. Because I feel like that message definitely goes with this. Family and friends. Also, I want you to do some research on the Britney Spears story. See how her family is playing her out. Begin to watch the interviews and just look at her. It's not she's mentally ill. And if she is, it's because they created that strong delusion. Look at how these people taking care of her or lack thereof. And then as always, do your extended research. Go back and read the word of God so you can see that. You need to see this with your own eyes. Don't just take it from me. I know we literally be reading. You'll be like, okay, she got the Bible. So you know what I'm saying? Whatever she's saying is true and valid. Get your own understanding. You have to get your own understanding. Period. Get your own revelation. When you read on your own and you do things on your own, you'll be messing around up in here reading Genesis like, dang, he did that to his brother. And then God will bless you with some revelation. And don't ignore God. You'll be reading like, okay, I'm about to go read the reference that Alexis Love dropped. Okay, dang, Joseph's brother really tried to set him up like that. That's crazy. Then you get a thought in your head like, it'll be God give you vague thoughts, but you have to be willing to seek him to get the outcome of it. So you'll be reading and then something to slip your mind about your brother, and then it'll just make you uncomfortable. And you'll be like, man, whatever. But yeah, that is crazy what they had did to him. Then later on, you'll keep getting signs and wonders. It'll just be something about your brother. Your brother will probably call you then. Don't think it's no conspiracy theory or you making stuff up. Your brother will call you, be like, hello? Some sound different in his phone call. You're like, yeah, bro, what's up? We still, you know what I'm saying? We still out here today. It's 90 degrees Fahrenheit. He like, Yeah, we can still go. Dang, bro, what's wrong with you? Nothing, man. I just was over here going through. I just had finished cleaning up. I actually just woke up, and then you sitting here like, bro, I done heard, bro, before. I ain't never sound like that when he woke up. But whatever, man. We out here. Let's turn up. You doing the extended research, and now you seeking God. You like, it's gonna start playing. Dang, I remember reading that earlier. Like, bro, it's crazy. Like, nah, I don't think my brother on nothing. You know what I'm saying? Read for yourself, so God can give you revelation on what's going on in your life. Even though you get wisdom from this channel, different people on YouTube, it is still your responsibility to do your extended research. That way you can open up things in your life. You do not want to ignore these things and be like, I'm good, that'll never happen to me. We always think it'll never happen to us. We don't know what'll happen to us. When you begin to pay attention and ask God, then you will notice that so much has been happening to you that you were not even aware of. You have to be aware of Satan and his devices. These people that he using are his devices. They don't even know what they're fighting. If you don't even know that you fighting demons, then why would I be around you fighting your demons and then my demons? That's not a good outcome. Do your extended research. God bless you. I'll also title the video best friends versus no friends. The two things, those go together. You got best friends versus no friends, where we talked about the different friends, if they're really your friends or should you just not have none. And then now we have keep your friends close, keep your families closer. We want to run both of them back. I'm personally about to run both of them back myself, because it be some wisdom that I'd be like, what? Like, I ain't, what? So be sure to do your extended research on that as well. Not just here, just in general. Look up different things and different signs about narcissistic and manipulation and jealousy and envy, and then read it with your word. And then when God begin to reveal things to you, do not be afraid to walk away. That is the most blessing that you can get in this life. Being obedient. I promise you, God not gonna let nothing happen to you. And for the people that's trying to transpire against you, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just make sure that you pray for them. We have to pray and ask mercy for them, because God knows their heart and God knows the different things that they're doing. It's going to come to an end. He already told us that. So it's not our responsibility to try to figure out when their end is going to be, how that's going to happen. It's just our responsibility to, Lord, have mercy and cover them in the blood of Jesus. Because if you notice that fooling, then that's exactly what they're going to need. Do the right thing. If it's somebody that you know that you don't like this person for whatever reason, you know that you can't stand this person, I think it's better for you to walk away and leave them alone, because you want to keep on going and going, keep on seeing how much more you can get, keep on seeing how much more you can mess with their mind and their peace and their mental stability, and keep on bringing them down. You're going to get caught in a strong delusion that you will not be able to get out of. And then when different things begin to happen in your life, that could be the reason why. Because you cannot play with the children of God. You cannot play with people that is doing what they need to do, figuring out what they need to do, and then you just here, just going with the motions, thinking that you're about to be bringing God's people down. Because God know what they doing in private, and you think that you just about to be out here fooling. You got to worry about God. That's you and his beef. We don't got none. Alexis loves you. Mwah.